All right, we are back here for our fourth and final segment on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. So this is going to be just talking about some news around the league that I wanted to touch on here. So the first one is going to be about the Angels, which I talked about before. So two pieces of news. First, a more positive one. According to manager, not general manager, Ron Washington, they are stretching out reliever Andrew Wentz to be a starter this spring and be a starter for the season. An interesting decision, as we've seen a lot more teams do this, of course. I've talked about it on the show multiple times. So, I definitely think it's interesting to see. Wentz has been a common contributor to the Angels' bullpen the past few years, and him becoming a starter is kind of surprising. But again, Washington said they need more pitching depth than they have present, which I definitely agree with. So I think Wentz turning into a starter does make some sense. It's just kind of interesting. Next, we have some more negative news for the Angels. It's mostly always negative news for Angels. Sorry, Angels fans. It's just the way it goes. You have Robert Stevenson, who was scratched from playing catch. 2 days ago, he has some shoulder soreness. Sorry, always gets me at the double S's. And might start the season on the IL. Obviously, not a good start for a reliever signed to a huge 3-year contract. I thought Robert Stevenson was a great signing, someone I wanted the Mets to sign all offseason long. I think the stuff he showed with Tampa is legit, and I think he's going to be a very, very good reliever for a long time after that. But, of course, when you sign relievers to these long-term deals, you have to risk injury. Not just pitchers, but even relievers. I think they're more injury-prone because they pitch more than starters. So it makes sense that this is happening, but still a problem about that, and it was always an interesting move for the Angels to sign all these relievers this offseason to big deals when they're not really competing that much. Signing other guys is fine, but just relievers is strange. I mean, just looking at the sheer amount of guys they signed to the bullpen this year that are notable. I mean, of course, you have Robert Stevenson. You also have Matt Moore, Adam Simber, Luis Garcia, Jose Cisnero, Adam Kolarek. I mean, $50.6 million spent in offseason relievers. So, it's crazy. And I don't know why they did that if they're kind of rebuilding, retooling. Not going to be that good. So, it was an interesting decision. And it's backfiring already, but hopefully Stevenson's good to go. I really want to see what he could do in a full season. And I think him and Estevez could be a nice back end to the bullpen for that Angels team. We have next some more negative news, some more injury news. Ronald Acuna Jr. today was scratched from the lineup with knee soreness. Never a good sign. It doesn't seem like it's much. Brian Snitker said he should be fine. He said it's just precautionary reasons that they took him out. But you never want your star player being scratched from the lineup. So, not a good thing for the Braves. But again, it shouldn't be a big deal. I think it's fine. And hopefully it's not a big deal for Braves fans. Hopefully he's fine. I think he is. But again, something to touch on because when one of the better players in baseball, arguably the best player in baseball considering he won MVP last year, gets scratched, you have to talk about it. So, Brandon Crawford, who recently signed with the St. Louis Cardinals, talked about how that he wanted to re-sign with the Giants, but they didn't want him. So that's an interesting thing. He hinted that it was Farhan Zaidi, who is the president of baseball operations for the Giants, did not want to re-sign him. I don't think that's too crazy. Simply put, Crawford has regressed these past few years, was pretty horrible last year after an amazing 2021 out of nowhere. He didn't make much sense, especially with youngster Marco Luciano taking the reins at shortstop. So it's not a big deal, but I understand if Crawford feels some type of way about it. He played his entire career there. And is now going to the Cardinals. So, something that was interesting. Interesting that he said that, but not surprising in any way. We talked about it a little bit before, but Chris Bryant, he said in a nice way, he signed with the Rockies because he thought their prospects were better than they actually are and that he just wanted to sign with the team before spring training, which is not very good, to say the least here. Signing with a team like that, signing because of that, and then getting immediately hurt and being one of the worst contracts in baseball. So it just continues to be the Rockies continue to be the laughing stock of baseball with their organization. I mean, man, they just have no idea what they're doing. It makes me mad, but what are you going to do? The Red Sox, they signed slugging first baseman C.J. Cron to a minor league deal. They've always needed some first base depth for the past few years. You have Tristan Casas, Bobby Dalbec, who are probably gonna be contributors there, and I think it makes sense to add some depth in there with C.J. Cron. Yeah, he's a good player. Brings some nice depth to that first base position, and brings some nice depth to that team. So, yeah, excited to see what happens with Cron in there. Obviously, I'm sure Red Sox fans would like some more major signings, but I think Cron's a nice start. I think he's a good depth move for them. And, yeah, I just think it's a nice move, and, yeah, good move. We talked about him yesterday, but Tristan Beck of the San Francisco Giants, who had an aneurysm in his arm, is having surgery to correct it and make it better. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but I don't think it should be that long. I think it just depends on his rehab process and how, attentive he is towards it, how much he attacks it, how his body reacts to it. Maybe a month or so if I had to give a little guess, but I don't think it should be that long. Maybe even is on the roster for opening day, but I think even if he is, it's still an injury risk. It's still another injury to this Giants rotation, and I've talked about it before, but Michael Lorenzen's still out there. I think he'll be a great fit for the Giants. I don't know why they're not doing it. I understand if you don't want to add a guy like Montgomery or Snell to a long-term contract, you're not very high in them for their long-term outlook. But at the same time, Michael Lorenzen, he's a good pitcher. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Giants, and it's strange that he's still out there. So I'd look for the Giants to be a part of the Lorenzen thing, especially now, and I think he makes a lot of sense for them. Matt Brash from the Mariners bullpen, one of their bigger pieces. He's throwing next week after some setbacks with his injuries. So, good sign for the Mariners bullpen. Obviously had some early injuries to there with him and Gregory Santos both going down. But I think Matt Brash coming back is a good sign for this Mariners bullpen. A really good reliever, guy with just elite stuff, raw. I'm looking forward to see what happens with Brash and how he can affect that Mariners bullpen and can it get healthy. Hopefully him and Gregory Santos come back. I'm looking forward to see what the Giants do this season with their younger team, with the moves they've made. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Mariners. So sorry again for saying looking forward so much, but I am. I'm looking forward to this season, if you don't know. I really want baseball to start. I'm really excited for it. Really want to see what happens this season. So I'm very excited, and I really can't wait. And it starts in a month or so, and I'll be talking about it here, believe me. The Mets, they made a minor league signing John Duplantier to a minor league contract for just a one-year deal. Made a lot of sense, again, with the injuries they've had. Former top 100 prospect with the Diamondbacks, just never worked out there. Going to the Mets now, less pressure. I think going to be a nice addition to the Syracuse Mets for AAA. Will probably come up at some point in the year as depth. And, I'm excited to see what he can do in spring and also how he can fill in the team. Next, we have Carlos Rodon. Some more negative news for baseball fans, or maybe not if you don't like the Yankees. But Rodon gave up 4 home runs today in a little exhibition game with the Yankees. Not a very good sign, I'd say, if you're a Yankees fan, considering the struggles Rodon had last year. But I don't think it's a big deal, unless the balls were hit extremely hard and the metrics on his stuff were not very good. Home runs happen. It's more about the stuff and how you can bring that into the year than the actual results right now. You want process over results, and if his process of the pitches, his pitches are performing well, it's not a big deal to me. But still not ideal, of course. You want Rodon to pitch very well. I've said it a few times, but he is the X factor this Yankees season. I have a video up here about all the teams and their X factors. So if you want to look at the AL one, but feel free to do that. He's the first player I talk about. So not a great start for Rodon, but I think he'll be better, and he's a big part of that Yankee season. And I really want to see how he performs and if he can bounce back. Next, we have Luis Severino. He had his first start with the Mets today after the big offseason signing for them, after playing horrible for the Yankees last year. He threw 97 and had 2 scoreless innings with them. I was watching, and his stuff was pretty good. Hitting 97 I think is a big deal. And I'm really, really interested to see how he performs this season. I'm high on him. I think the stuff he's done in the offseason to help himself are really going to work out. And I really do think he's going to be a major impact to this Mets team and the Mets rotation and what does happen there. So, I really want to see him do well. Always seemed like a really cool guy. When he was on, was, one of the coolest guys in baseball with that swag, with, him yelling off the mound every time he got an out. That Twins series, series versus the Twins where he's in Minnesota, loaded the base with no outs and got out of it. That's just stuck in my mind about how much excitement was there. I love guys who love playing baseball, and I think Severino has shown over the past years that he loves playing baseball. He is one of those guys, and I love his enthusiasm for the game. And I'm really excited to watch him for my Mets, and really excited to see how he does bounce back, and if the additions he did make this offseason help him, and how they do affect him in general as well. So just recapping a tiny bit, we talked about other news around the league at this whole thing. Ronald Acuna and his situation with him getting scratched from the lineup. Brandon Crawford saying the Giants didn't really want him. Makes sense, though. Red Sox signing C.J. Cron to a minor league deal. Makes sense as well. Another, good first base depth for them, good power depth. Just a good position player to have in the minor league team and at your arsenal. Tristan Beck having surgery for his aneurysm on his arm. Again, another hit to that Giants pitching staff. Michael Lorenzen, he's out there. Sign him. Be a great signing, in my opinion. Matt Brash helping that Mariners bullpen by coming back quickly after injury. Good for them. Mets signing John Duplantier. Good depth move for the starting pitching that has been injured a little bit. Carlos Rodon, not a great start with the Yankees, but I'm not too worried, and I think he'll improve. And finally, Luis Severino, playing for the Mets for the first time, throwing 97, having 2 scoreless innings, and playing pretty well. That's going to be it for our show today. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means a lot. Again, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Remember to subscribe. 51% of you who watch the content aren't, so make sure that you do. Follow us everywhere that you can see us. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. All content and updates will be on there, so thank you so much again for that. Really appreciate it, you guys, for the support, and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week. Let's see what baseball throws at us on Monday. All right, see you later, guys. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.